Hi, everybody. Hopefully, you can hear me and you can see my face and you can see my presentation here. This was quite the process figuring out how to screen record this with my face in it, but hello. If you are watching this, that means that we are officially 365 days away from my wedding. I'm so excited. I, throughout this lengthy engagement, have had a lot of time to think and plan and relax and listen to podcasts and make PowerPoints up the wazoo. If you've been over to Nate and I's place at all within the past year, you've probably had to suffer through one or two already. And this one that I've made for you guys is just kind of like a 1 year check-in, so that we can all get on the same page about what's going on the next year. I know you guys pretty much have a general idea, but I wanted to kind of put a bug in your ear, put some information out there so it can be in the back of your head throughout the year as you kind of schedule and budget and all that good stuff. Also, I'm just really excited to talk about my wedding like I wasn't talking about enough before, but now that we're officially a year out, under a year out, I feel like I'm justified. Before I was talking about my wedding and it was like, "Oh, when is it?" And I'm like, 2 years away. And people are like, "Girl, what the fuck is wrong with you?" But now it's getting real. So, firstly, thank you, of course. Thank you guys for being a part of this journey with me. If you've been a part of any wedding events up until this point, the engagement party, dress shopping, you already know that we have a really awesome group. And I feel very blessed to have such wonderful friends. And I'm just very, very excited. Above all, I feel like I've said it 5 times already. Very excited. Um, so getting right into it, kind of starting in reverse chronological order, I guess, with the wedding weekend. Most of you already know this information. It's probably posted on your refrigerator right now. But our wedding is Saturday, July 20th, 2024, at the Oshkosh Country Club here in my lovely hometown. And the ceremony start time, which we kind of just decided on, is going to be 3 p.m. And as I'm saying that, I'm like nervous because I'm like, is it the right time? I feel like there's so much that depends and falls on when your ceremony time is. And it's out there now. I've said it. It's real. Not that I can't change it, but it's real. 3 p.m. is the ceremony time. But just because the ceremony doesn't start till 3 doesn't mean that we're not going to be busy all day. If for some odd reason you were thinking that you're just going to pull up at noon or pull up at 2, 30 minutes before the ceremony, immediately, no, wrong. Definitely plan to be busy all day, starting with just the fact that we're going to have a schedule for makeup. I have 2 makeup artists that are going to be coming in to do my makeup, all of you guys' makeup, my mom's makeup, and Nate's mom's makeup, and we're going to have a tight schedule for that. Um, so eventually, once we create that schedule, you'll all have like a chair time where you need to have your booty in the chair at that time, not rolling in the parking lot at that time. You need to be in the chair ready to get your makeup done at that time. So you'll have this call time. You might even want to prepare to be there a little bit earlier. There as in the bridal suite, ready to sit in the chair. Someone might be at 9:30, someone might be at 11, someone might be at noon, someone might be whenever. And that's your time to get your makeup done. But even when we're not getting our makeup done, we're still going to be doing our hair, getting ready, all of that good stuff. I have no professionals coming for hair just because, I mean, the budget was tight. The budget was really tight. And also, I'm not getting professional hair done that day. So when I was kind of choosing between makeup and hair, I figured, well, if I'm not going to get my hair done, it don't make sense to bring in a hairstylist for anybody else necessarily. And I'm already going to have a makeup artist in for myself. So maybe let's go with that. So Delaney has graciously offered to help anybody with their hair that's maybe feeling a little bit lost. She's done hair for family members before and special occasions and bridal parties before. So she is a resource at your disposal if you want to run some inspo pictures past her. Ask her what her abilities are, if she could help you out. Have those conversations and maybe start thinking about what you'd want to do with your own hair in between all the makeup and getting ready. In addition to all the beauty things that are happening the morning of the wedding, we also might be potentially setting up the decorations and the venue that morning. There are options to come the day before to set things up on Friday, but that's only if they, don't have another event happening that Friday. When we spoke to the venue people last at the country club, they said chances are, unless there's another venue or another event just as big as yours or bigger, it's going to stay unbooked and you can come that Friday so we can tentatively plan on that, but let's say somebody else wants to get married that Friday, or there's a giant business dinner event happening, then that space could potentially be filled that Friday, and we would be having to set everything up on the Saturday morning. If that was the case, you would know far in advance what your job would be that day. We'd probably be delegating out tasks like, okay, your job in the morning is to set up the memory table. You two are in charge of centerpieces. You need to set up the seating chart sign. You need to put programs on the seats. Whatever the case may be, you would know in advance so that you can anticipate and, I guess, be prepared for that. But those are all of the things that are going on that morning. Like I said, plan to be busy all day. As a reminder about dresses, everyone is getting a floor-length dress from Birdie Gray in the color Twilight. Get whatever fabric you want, except for satin. The rest of it, I don't give a damn about. High neck, low neck, long sleeve, no sleeve, one shoulder, two shoulder, a slit, not a slit, not important. Floor length, Twilight, no satin. That's it. That's the only parameters there. I have a whole nother presentation like this about the wedding, like the looks, about dresses and hair and makeup and accessories and what kind of shoes we should wear. So I'll plan to send that out to you guys and probably do something similar to this as we get a little bit closer and that information comes a little bit more relevant. But just in case anybody was peeking at dresses, that's the information about the dress. I would say 6 months out from the wedding at the top of the new year is probably a good time to do that. Or, I mean, if you kind of already know what you want, maybe they'll have like a Black Friday sale or something. That might be a good time to do it. I wouldn't do it too far in advance because they do come out with new styles. So as we get closer to the wedding, there might be a new style dress that suits your interests a little bit more than what's out right now. But definitely don't wait too long, especially if you're someone that knows that you're going to need alterations. If you're someone that's like, yeah, I know I'm going to need it hemmed. I know I'm going to need the straps shortened, whatever the case may be. Definitely account for alterations time, especially since the summer is a busy time for weddings, prom, bridesmaids, all that good stuff. Trust me, those things book up fast. So keep all of that in mind. More information to come about that. And that's the wedding day. Surrounding the rest of the wedding weekend, the night before, there will be a ceremony rehearsal and a dinner that is mandatory. Even though it seems simple, like all we're doing is walking down the aisle. There's things that we want everybody to know, everybody to be the same page on. And yeah, you could FaceTime in or we could send it to you all in a text, but it's just so much easier if you make sure that you're there for the rehearsal so you can stand in the place, know what you're doing, talk to the person who's going to be walking with you, all that good stuff. Absolutely mandatory. Make sure you're there. And then there will be a dinner afterwards, so you're getting fed. You can't even be mad. And also, we're feeding all of your plus ones as well. So your plus one, if you're traveling with someone or you're bringing a date, they might have to sit through the rehearsal part, which may be a little bit awkward for them, but they're invited to the dinner as well, I should say. Just because I feel like it would be weird to come all the way from La Crosse or Milwaukee and then be like, no, babe, you got to stay in the hotel. Peace out. That's odd. Bring your plus one to the rehearsal dinner. Titan's talking to us over here. He's mad because he's not invited. You're going to be at daycare. You're not invited. Because he would steal the show. Anyway, so getting back to our wedding weekend here, that was the night before. Like I was saying before, there might even be opportunities to set up the venue the day ahead on the Friday. So in addition to the rehearsal and the dinner, there might even be things that we're setting up that day. So keep that in mind when you're making your travel plans. And then the day after, my dad is hosting a kind of recovery day at his home in the backyard. Excuse me. And super chill, not mandatory or anything. Mostly just because my dad's side of the family has so many people that are coming from out of town that we don't see but like once or twice a year, if that. So I want to make sure I see them. We're probably just going to be grilling out, having some yard games, stuff like that. So if all else fails, come grab a plate on your way out. Should be a good time. And that's the wedding weekend. If you haven't already checked it out on our wedding website, which the information for the website is on your save the date, on that website is all of our lodging information, our hotel blocks if you're someone that needs to book a hotel. Those of you that have family in Oshkosh, I would also consider those options. As some of you guys already know, the hotel room block situation has been stressful because Nate and I are getting married the day before flying for EAA. So not only was it difficult to even secure a hotel room block, I'm not going to lie, they're not the cheapest rooms ever. So see all that information at your earliest convenience so you can take all of that info into account. And for those of you that are lucky enough to have family in town, consider those options as well. All right, next. Oh, I almost forgot. Something that I do want opinions about and feedback about right now is after party. What do you think? Have you been to a wedding after party before? Are you interested? If Nate and I had one, would you come? What are your thoughts? I know it seems crazy, like after such a long day, the last thing you want to do is keep partying. Like, aren't you going to be tired? But I listen to a lot of wedding podcasts. I read a lot of articles. And one of the biggest things that people always regret is not having an after party, surprisingly enough. And I know, like, it's a Saturday night. If the wedding ends and we want to keep the party going, there's nothing stopping us from just going to the bar. But the whole reason that this keeps me up at night is the Fletch's patio bar, the upstairs patio bar. If you are familiar with going out to the bars in Oshkosh, you know Fletch's Tap House or whatever. They have it inside. They have a really nice outside with fire pits and all that good stuff. But then on top of that, they have an outside upper deck bar that is just so pretty. And I feel like would be like the perfect vibe for a wedding after party. And every time I drive past it, I want to book it so bad. But of course, I don't want to book it for an after party and then nobody comes. So I just feel like the vibes would be so good. But let me know if you would come, if you've been to them before. Accepting opinions about this. Okay. Now I'm done talking about the wedding weekend. Scooting it up a little bit. The double batch trip. I'm pretty sure this is like the most exciting part. Not the most exciting, I shouldn't say that. The most exciting part is marrying the love of my life. But I think maybe what you guys might be most excited for, or what I know a lot of people have been talking about, is this Nashville trip. As a reminder, Nate and I are doing this bachelorette trip all together. So it's me, all of you are invited, Nate and all of his groomsmen are invited, minus Junior because he's not going to be 21 by the time this trip comes around. And altogether, that is 17 people. It's a whole lot of. In the best way possible. And we are road tripping to Nashville to stay there Thursday through Sunday. We have finally decided on dates. Drum roll, please. Thursday, June 20th to Sunday, June 23rd. We had a bunch of different dates that were options for us leading up to the wedding, but then after we took out holidays like the 4th of July, Mother's Day, Father's Day, and after we took out all of Nate's military obligations, this is pretty much the only date we were left with. And it's exactly a month out from the wedding, so it's perfect timing. Not too close, not too far, and the weather will be really good in June. So get excited. So right now, the planning process for that, Nate and I are going to start gathering quotes probably like in the fall for the hotel block, and then also like larger costs like renting the cars and some of the group activities we want to do together. And we're going to figure out exactly how much are these things going to cost us. We're going to put them into a presentation similar to this, and probably in January at the top of the new year, we're going to schedule a big Zoom meeting with everybody in the bridal party so that we can all log in together and me and Nate can give you guys all this information at once. And at that point, you'll know exactly how much the trip is going to cost you, and we can kind of get final confirmation from everybody whether they're coming or not. And at that point, we're going to start putting cards down, we're going to start booking things, and we're going to start collecting money from people. Because the way payment is going to work for this trip, well, I have that on the next slide, so I'll leave that there. But that's kind of the planning process. We're gathering quotes, and then in January, we're going to give you guys all the info. We're going to get yay or nay, and then we're going to start booking stuff for the June trip. For right now, what we kind of want to know is where you're at on attendance. If you're like, for sure coming, I'm there no matter what, great. If you're maybe a little lukewarm and you're like, I got to know how much it's going to cost me first, I might move some money around, we'll see. I get you. let me know if that's you, or if you're like, ooh, I have another wedding that weekend, or I have a military obligation, or some of Nate's groomsmen, like, I'm having a baby, like, something like that. If you're definitely going to be a no, then let us know that as well, because that might affect the quotes and stuff that we get, the amount of people that's there. We're splitting a lot of things like 17 different ways, which is nice because then it makes it cheaper for us individually. But then if we find out that someone's not coming, then that changes the cost for everybody. So just kind of let us know where you're at for now. And then also let us know if you maybe have an idea of who you want to room up with. This kind of leads me into my next slide here, but we're going to be going the hotel room block route. I know everybody talked about Airbnbs, and that sounds like such a fun idea, but just because there's so many of us, there's no Airbnb at a reasonable cost that's going to accommodate this many people. Not without, like, having to share beds and stuff, which is, like, it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit more easier and more comfortable to get hotel rooms. And then, at the end of every night, like, you have your own space to sleep in. But with that, if you are willing and able to split like a double queen room with one person instead of having to book a hotel room solely by yourself, that's going to save you a lot of money. So I know not everybody in this group is like 100% besties, but I can help make some introductions if needed. And if you are someone that does know, like, hey, I'm going to room with them, let us know, because again, that's going to affect the quotes. And when we go and talk to hotels and say we need X amount of rooms, that's going to help us get that number in. So nothing set in stone for sure now. Just kind of let us know where you're at. Give us like a rough draft, first round, like bit of information for us to kind of go off with when we're making these quotes. Going into my next slide about cost expectations, there's a handful of things that we're going to be splitting as a group, like the car rental, and that's like to physically rent the cars from Enterprise and all the insurances that go with that and everything. But also the amount of money that it's going to cost to gas up those cars is going to be a shared cost. We have a couple of people coming from Florida that are going to drive their own personal cars. They probably won't be factored into that because I'm not going to make them pay for a car they're not really going to be using to come back and forth in. So, but that is going to be a big shared cost between most of us. And then aside from that, like the cost of a party bus pedal tavern situation would be something we do as a group. And then maybe like a boat day, or maybe like a winery tour, some things like that. Nate and I will put our card down and we'll basically ask y'all to Venmo us or give us cash for your share of it. Food and drinks for the entire trip is BYO. Bring your own money, like pay your own way. If you want to drink top shelf and eat steaks the whole weekend, that's your business. If you want to drink water and eat salads and kids meals the whole weekend, that is also your own business. Everyone's paying their own way in that regard. And then also everybody is responsible for their own hotel room. Me and Nate are going to book a room block. We're going to reserve these rooms and say, hey, we got these people coming, they need rooms. And then you will call on your own time and say, hey, I'm coming with this group, I need to get a room, here's my card number. And so that's where kind of the roommate thing comes in. If you can work out, hey, I'm going to book a room for both of us. Will you Venmo me X amount? Or will you buy me dinner the first night? Whatever you want to work out with whoever you're rooming with is your business. But just know these things are for you to figure out on your own. And these things are for you to send us money. That's the tea on that. Again, we will give you guys all of the fleshed out details and dollar amounts in January. We're going to try to make it as affordable as possible, of course, but also, like, we here for a good time. Like, we're not trying to cheap out on a trip. Like, you only get one bachelorette trip. But, I mean, we got the whole wedding to pay for, and the honeymoon, and we're in school, so it ain't going to be too much. That's the tea on that. Next, decor day. This is not like part of the traditional, I think, engagement, like event things. This is just something I'm kind of trying to set up on my own. Not that I'm really a DIY girly. I'm more of a pay a professional to get it done girly. But there are some things that I'll be needing to set up for the day and kind of organize and label and put together that I'll be needing extra hands for. And I think we could just make a fun day out of it. Things like we need to fold programs and we need to spray paint all of these photo frames that I found from Goodwill gold, or we need to, I don't know, whatever the fuck else I come up with. I just already know there's going to be a lot of decorations that need to be divvied up, because also what I want to do is kind of this Rubbermaid bin situation that you see in the PowerPoint here. I want to put kits together and then have a sheet of paper inside that shows the inventory, everything that's in that box, and everything that needs to go back in that box at the end of the night, along with like a photo of like a mock-up. So we're going to set it up in advance, take a photo to put on that sheet of paper. So I could hand this box to a stranger on the street and say, set up the card table. And they would know exactly how to do it to what me and Nate want, what I want. Just to really make it dummy proof and make everything smooth and easy on the day of. But that, of course, is time consuming, and it would be a lot easier if I had some help. So I don't know when exactly this is going to happen. I guess it kind of depends on how soon I'm able to get all of these pieces together. I have 3 to 6 months on here. It might be more like 2 to 4 months out from the wedding. We'll kind of see what happens. Super casual, not mandatory at all. But that's kind of something I'm thinking about putting together at some point. And with that, that's kind of all I have to share with you guys as far as gearing up for the wedding. I have a little cute saying here. It says, if you'll be my bridesmaid, I promise to let you do tons of work for no pay and set you free after a year. So basically what I'm asking is, will you be my indentured servant? Which hee hee ha ha, like obviously it's not that deep, but also I understand that it is time consuming and sometimes probably mentally draining and can be a financial burden to be a bridesmaid. And as I'm putting this together, I'm also realizing, I asked you guys to be my bridesmaids a year and a half ago. Typically, your obligation would have been done and over with by now. But we still have a year left to go. And so in all that time, priorities change, budgets change, schedules change, and I'm just putting this here to say, if something changes for you, if you're reading this or something comes up later and you're like, I don't think this is going to work, I'm not having fun anymore, I don't really want to do this, I think I would just rather be a guest, please don't hesitate to talk to me about it. Just let me know. I promise you, if you come to me at a reasonable time, not a day before the wedding or a week before the bachelorette trip, like, I'm not going to be mad. And this is my little get out of jail free card that I'm giving y'all here. Not that I want anybody to leave the group, but I just felt the need to kind of put it out there and just say it in case, on the off chance anybody is having those thoughts. Just talk to me. But to end on a good note, true friends are like diamonds, bright, beautiful, valuable, and always in style. I asked you all to be a part of my bridal party because you're all really good friends and you remind me of such fond memories from different points in my life, and you're the faces I want to see when I walk down the aisle, and that means a lot to me, and you all mean a lot to me, and this process means a lot to me, and I'm always like, I feel like very festive. I always want to celebrate things to their fullest, and I'm very excited, very happy to have you all. I want it to be a damn good time. I want everybody to have a damn good time. I don't want being a bridesmaid to feel like a burden to anybody. I want it to feel like a party or something. I don't know. Really fun. And with that, Lydia had a really good idea to set up some type of bridesmaids event before the summer ends, just because some of us connected back in February when I picked out a dress, but a lot of us, we didn't see each other since the engagement party like a year ago. Some of y'all still have never met, and so this would just be really fun. Lydia had a great idea just to kind of get together, do something chill, do something fun. Wolf River Tubing. If you've never been, basically you meet up at a campsite. You check in, you have to sign a waiver, you pay a little bit of money, and then you get on a bus. They shuttle you to the top of a river, and you get in, and then you get in an inner tube and you float all the way back to the campsite. They have like short trips that are just a couple of hours, but then they also have long trips that like will last you the whole day. And it's nice. People like link up together, so you're like 6 rafts all together. People, have a drink, have music going, and it's a really fun time. And we should all fucking go. I have some information on the side here. It's $20 a person, so basically to have your own personal tube, it's $20, but then also if you want like a rectangular cooler tube, that's an additional $20. We probably don't all need to bring a cooler. I think if probably 1 or 2 of us bring a cooler, then we could probably fill it enough for everybody. This place does accept cards. They open at 8 a.m. The shuttles start at 9, so I don't know how early we would want to go, but 9 a.m. is probably like the earliest we'd want to get there so we can shuttle ourselves there. And then also back at the campsite, they have like a full bar and grill restaurant area. So maybe we can go float down the river all morning and then like have lunch or dinner or whatever, hang out. So yeah, this would be super cool to do before the summer ends. Um, Underneath in the chat where I sent this video, I'm also going to send a Google form asking what dates people are available. Starting with like, I think it's like the next 3 weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. There's Sunday, this August 6th, I took out because Nate and I are moving that day. And then after August 17th, the weekend of the 18th, 19th, and so on and so forth, I took out because I'm getting LASIK and then I can't be in the water for a month. So I got a couple of weekends in there that hopefully we can squeeze something like this in. Just fill out that survey. Let us know if you're free, when you're free, and hopefully we can get something on the books and do something before the summer's done. I would love to see you all. So, yeah. Thank you guys for taking the time to listen to this. Thank you for being a part of this group. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you in advance. Thank you for everything. Should be a good time.